We welcome Luke Petherbridge, CEO of Link Logistics. Link owns warehouses across the U.S. with over 8,000 customers across all facets of the economy. And what was the stat of how much of U.S. GDP your warehouses are equivalent to?
About 4 to 5% of US GDP, our 8,000 customers operate. So it's pretty incredible.
It's an insane amount, and it's such a good look into this economy. So we're about to head into the season where everybody's buying holiday gifts and deciding what to shop for. How do inventories look, and what is the sentiment among retailers that you work with?
Yeah, I mean, it's a really interesting time. We're just talking about the economy. What we're seeing is general resilience. And when you think of supply chain, our customers, and we just were with our largest customers, they think a very long term. So they're seeing robust inventory levels. They're actually prepared well. And I think what we've actually seen is we've actually leased more space this year than we did last year. And you think about what the economy we've been dealing with and some of the tariff noise, they're looking right through that at the moment.
That tariff noise, I would imagine, creates volatility for a business like yours, because if I hear that I'm going to get 100% tariff on the place where I import all my goods, next month, I'm going to import as much as I can right now, right? And then after next month, none. So do you see that as well?
Matt, it sounds like you're a supply chain person. That's exactly what they've been doing. I think it's a really good point. I think uncertainty is the issue. Like, if you think about it, we've had tariffs before. We had tariffs a decade ago. We've been having tariffs. The change in tariffs, I think, is the issue. What we're seeing is tariffs are settling. We saw that again over the weekend. That obviously provides greater certainty, and our customers react that way. So yes, it's been a little lumpy this year, but when you think of supply chain, you really are sort of building out your supply chain for not just 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, it's 5, 10 years. The other thing that's happening is e-commerce continues to be a bellwether for the country and for our business, and we continue to see that growing with the traditional e-commerce providers, but then also retailers continuing to grow their e-commerce presence. And then finally, I would say speed is what's happening. I mean, I have teenage kids. They're not waiting a week for things to be delivered. It's 24 hours or less. What that means is you need to be closer to the customer, have more inventory to deliver and fulfill the promises to your customers.
Well, there was this whole narrative that after COVID, Amazon spent too much on last mile logistics, that they had to pull back in that spending. But just hearing what you're saying, it seems like you can't really have spent too much, that the demand is really there. Where do we stand in the build out of last mile logistics and aiding some of the digital retail trends that you're talking about?
Do you know, I think it's a really good point, Danny. The first phase was really Amazon taking share. Now it's all the other retailers catching up. I mean, you look at Walmart and the growth of their e-commerce business, double digit. Amazon last week, double digit e-commerce growth, which is really incredible for a business that size. I think the second wave of e-commerce now is speed. What used to be totally adequate to deliver in 5 days, you now need to deliver in 24 hours. So what that does to your network, you need more warehouses closer to consumers.
And more tired drivers? I just feel bad for the people behind that are having to put out stuff in a day after being ordered.
And so then what happens is, because you've got such a large network, you're able to actually use whether your store or the facility to be able to do that. But that is now the expectation of the customer. The customer is always right, and businesses are working around that.
Well, and you're going to have in your warehouses, in a lot of cases, I imagine, robots or automated systems. You've got a lot of warehouse space that needs to be climate controlled, lights, water, etc. Probably not the same power needs as an AI data center, but you're getting there in a lot of places, right? How do you deal with that?
Yeah, do you know, power is a huge topic. We just had, as I mentioned, our largest customers together. That is now one of the biggest concerns they have, is accessing power. We really have built out a fulsome solution for our customers. We're a very large landlord. We try to access the grid for them. But it is becoming a challenge.
You're a gigantic landlord. 500 million square feet of space, right? 3,500.
It's 3,500 buildings, 8,000 customers. There's a lot. But our customers, whether you're a big landlord or a small one, you are still dealing with the same challenges. The one thing you talked on, data centers, another area that we're seeing real growth is this reindustrialization of the country. You're seeing manufacturing. We've seen, over 200 are announcements in the last 5 years, $500 billion of factories and starts. That provides another buoy towards our business. But again, there's an increasing need while there's diminishing new supply. We're not building enough warehouses going forward.
The thing that seems incredibly complicated to me, you're talking about how your customers are planning 7 to 10 years ahead. But that one will be a different administration, so who knows what the policy mix will be like? Who knows what immigration will look like then, too? How difficult is it even to plan for the long term right now?
Yeah, it's really hard. But when you think of these very large corporations or big 3PLs, they have a really long-term strategy to provide network support and supply chain logistics for a country that's going to grow, consumption's going to grow, but they need to think through that. So there is a lot of near-term noise. We don't discount that. That is important. We try to work with our customers, provide them flexibility, the benefit, Matt, of having 500 million feet. We can help expand and contract customers when needed. But customers are thinking, if you think of the largest retailers or manufacturers, they think very, very long term to get component parts into the country and into the widgets or the supply chain that they're running.
Well, and regardless of the policy changes, you can't go wrong with supply chain localization, right? I mean, no one's going to raise tariffs on ourselves. Well, I don't think they're going to do that. So how big a part of that is your business as well?
Like, you mean the localization?
Yes.
I'd say we really have tried to skew towards last mile. We think that is a growing area. We think being close to rooftops, close to workers. Remember, we talked about automating the facilities. Most of our facilities have millions of people turning up across our entire portfolio every day, being close to the workforce. And again, as we talked about, speed is now the final frontier.
Be close to the customer.
Yeah, and speed is the final frontier. You are trying to chase speed. I mean, Amazon has set a pace, Walmart is chasing it, and then others are following through. So, and it's not just to the end customer, it's also supply chain inside any sort of manufacturing network, having component parts there when you need them immediately to keep the supply chain moving. We continue to see that chase for speed as one of the key components for all our customers, and we continue to try to own real estate in the path of that growth.
Hey, Luke, just quickly before you go, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask about CoreGiving, the charity that you co-founded and are chairman of, about food insecurity. Because it's part of the conversation right now with the government shutdown and the SNAP benefits running out, how big of an issue is food insecurity in this country right now, especially with the government shutdown?
Well, thank you for asking about that. It's something that's very close to my heart and the heart of all our firm. The stat from Feeding America, 1 in 5 children don't know where their next meal's coming from. And that's a shocking statistic for this country. It's something that we and CoreGiving and all our portfolio companies work on. 2 weeks ago, we had CoreGiving Day, where 3,500 colleagues across 20 different port codes around the world gave back. But it is a real issue. And I would say even before what's happening right now with the SNAP, it's still an issue and it's something that we need to solve. And it's in every single community that's around the country. And we're trying to do that and help that wherever we can.
All right. Great to have you on the program. I think an absolutely fascinating business. So fun to hear from Luke Petherbridge. He's the CEO of Link Logistics.